All right, today's lesson is on algebraic properties, the commutative and associative. The distributive, actually, we're going to come to later. So we're just going to look at the commutative and associative. So you have a notes page, so make sure that is in front of you. All right, so we're going to start with the commutative property. Commutative property simply means that if I change the order in which two numbers, like if I'm looking at the commutative property of addition, the order in which two things are added does not change the sum or the answer, okay? So if I look at my example here, a plus b is the same as b plus a. I know sometimes when we put letters in there, it kind of confuses you. So if I were to put numbers in, just go ahead and put numbers in here. So 5 plus 3, wouldn't that be the same thing as 3 plus 5? Because it would not change my answer. This would still equal 8, and this would still equal 8. Okay? So if I change the order of an addition problem, no matter how many numbers I have, it's not going to change my answer. That's the commutative property. The commutative property of multiplication, exact same thing. No matter the order, if I switch the order of problems in a multiplication problem, it's not going to change my answer. So a times b is the same as b times a. So again, let's put in 6 and 4. So 6 times 4 and 4 times 6 is still going to give me 24 no matter what there. Okay? So a good way to remember commutative, I don't know if you think about this, but when your parents, have you ever heard of people saying their commute to work? So their commute to work, they start at home and then they go to work. But in the afternoon, they go from work to home. That's the same distance. It's just a different order, okay? It's just a different order. So commutative just means I switch them. Now my question to you is, can I use the commutative property for subtraction and division? What do you think there? So if I had 5 minus 3, is that the same as 3 minus 5? No, that is not the same. Commutative property does not work with subtraction. You cannot change the order of a subtraction problem. Same thing with division. If I have 25 divided by 5, that is not the same thing as saying 25 divided by 25. That is not equal. Okay, that means the not equal sign there. Okay, so commutative property does not work with subtraction division. It only works with addition and multiplication. Okay? All right, let's look at associative property now. All right, so associative property of both addition and multiplication. Let's first look at addition. The associative property means you're going to have grouping symbols, which is parentheses. And again, if I change the grouping symbols, it's not going to change my answer. Okay, so let's look at this. If I have a plus b in a grouping symbol plus c, that's the same as saying the grouping of b and c plus a. So let's put some numbers in here. Let's say 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2. All right, so remember the grouping symbols tells me that's what I'm going to do first. All right, so in this case, I would do this first, which would give me 8 plus 2. But over here, I would do this first, which would give me 5 plus 5. Again, the answer does not change. The answer does not change. So if I change where my grouping symbols are, it's not going to affect my answer. Same thing with multiplication. If I change where my grouping symbols are, my parentheses, let's do this. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, I would do this first. That's 6 times 4. That would give me 24. But over here, I would do this one first because it's in the parentheses. That's 12 times 2, which still gives me 24. Okay? So no matter where my parentheses are, if I switch the order, as long as I have the same numbers and the same order, but then I just switch where those parentheses are, it's not going to change my answers. Okay? All right. A way to help you remember that, associative, I think of like, you could think of your associates or your peeps, your people that you associate with, the group that you associate with. So let's just say on, looking at my letters here, on this day, you're friends with A, B, and C, but today you are, having lunch with A and B people. But the next day, B and C. So it's your different group. You're changing your group. They're still all your friends, but are your associates, but you're just changing the group that you're hanging around with today. I don't know. That might help you figure it out to give you an association. I'm not sure. Okay, my question again, will the associative property work for subtraction or division? Well, let's try this out. So let's look here. So if I have 5 minus 3 minus 2, 5 minus 3 minus 2. So let's see. If I do this first, let's see, I do this one. All right, so if I did this first, that would give me 2 minus 2 is 0. But over here, that's 1. And then 5 minus 1 is going to give me 4. So nope, it's not going to work. It's not going to work for subtraction. And I'm guessing the same thing for division. I don't even know if I can figure out a division that's got 3 here. Let's see. Divided by 5 divided by 1. Let's try this. So let's see. Oh, that one might actually work. Let's just say division and subtraction do not work, okay? So associative and commutative properties only work for addition and multiplication. Only work for addition and multiplication. And that makes sense, doesn't it? That you can change the order of addition and multiplication. You can change the order, but not subtraction and division. All right? All right, you got a couple of examples here. First thing, I want you to write an A if you think it's an example of associative property, and C if you think it's a example of commutative property. So for these 4, so pause the video and do those 4 real quick. All right, check those answers. Okay, remember the associative property is your associates, your group. Okay, associative is always going to have grouping symbols. Okay. All right, and then pause the video and do 5 and 6. All right, check your answers there. All right, do you see why A is not working here? A is actually the same number. The same numbers are being grouped there. Okay, so I didn't change the group that I'm adding there. Okay. All right, have this ready for me to look at tomorrow if you have any questions. We're going to move on to the distributive property tomorrow. Okay. All right, have a great day, guys.